Drinking beer and watching sports is pretty awesome, and one of the few things on par is drinking beer and playing video games. But dropping all that cash on games that end up collecting dust after you're done with them sucks. But there's no sense in trading in old games unless you really want 25 cents off your new one. There's a better way, GameFly.
GameFly has over 8,000 new releases and classics available to rent for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, PS Vita, Wii U, Wii, and 3DS, as well as older systems. As a GameFly member, you can rent as many console and handheld games as you want and get them delivered right to your mailbox for one low monthly fee.
And if you like a game so much that you don't want to send it back, you can keep it for a low use price. There are never any due dates or late fees, and GameFly also offers the ability to rent Blu-ray and DVD movies as part of the regular service at no extra charge.
And right now, GameFly is offering fans of Craft Brewed Sports a premium free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To get that free trial started today, just go to gameflyoffer.com/craftbrewedsports. That's gameflyoffer.com/craftbrewedsports. Or just head on over to our website, craftbrewedsports.com, and click the GameFly link in the menu bar. We've all been there. You're standing in the beer aisle staring at the same selection that was there last week and just wishing you could try something different. That's where Tavour comes in. Tavour is the best and easiest way for you to get the beers that you can't find in your favorite bottle shop.
No need to hunt down people to trade with or worry about sending some sketchy guy a PayPal account hoping that he delivers on the bottle that you want. Tavour has your back. They only work with independent breweries, so there's no risk of getting suckered into buying an InBev beer pretending to be a craft brew.
And it's insanely easy. Just sign up for your free account, download the Tavour app for your Android or iPhone, and you'll get notifications when new beers are ready. Just go to the app and click Get It, and they'll put the quantity requested aside for you and ship it to your door. You can ship as many beers as you want for a flat fee, and you can schedule your delivery as soon as 1 week and as late as 5 after you select the beer you want to buy.
And now, fans of Craft Brewed Sports can get $10 in credit after you buy your first beer through Tavour.com. Just go to our website, craftbrewedsports.com, and click the Tavour link in the menu bar. Create your free account, and after your first beer is shipped out, you'll see a $10 credit hit your account. There's no commitment, no contract, no gimmicks, just great beer delivered directly to your door.
Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts for Stanton. Anymore. Swing and a miss, and Stanton, for the first time in his career, strikes out 5 times in a game. And how about this crowd? That's a little harsh, booing him with the 5 strikeouts in a game in which the Yankees are leading 9-4.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Craft Brewed Sports. I am Mike. Sitting with me, as always, is Scott. This is Craft Brewed Sports. Scott, you ready to tap this keg of sports knowledge?
That show open warmed my heart in so many different ways. But yes, you pump, I'll pour.
Deal. How's it going, man?
Pretty good for a Thursday.
I'm feeling super fancy today with the new equipment.
I dressed up for the occasion.
You did, yeah. We're new night, new time. I feel like we moved into that primetime slot. Like ABC was like, all right, boys.
Seinfeld was on Thursday nights. We're in the Seinfeld time slot. Big time.
First show moving from Friday to Thursday.
Our show is also about nothing.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. This is the Seinfeld of sports radio shows, where we just bullshit for about an hour and a half tonight, and then call it quits. Joe's hanging out with us, producer Joe. Joe, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing great, guys. How's it going?
Good, man.
Joe always coming with the vibrancy.
Well, stick around, guys. We got an awesome show for you tonight. We're going to be talking some Stanley Cup playoffs. Yes, we are going to be talking about the Stanley Cup.
Wait, what? Crazy. My rundown doesn't say anything about that.
It's the last page.
Oh, okay. Hadn't got that far.
We're talking about the Masters. Joe is super pumped because Tiger's back, except he's not back, but we'll get into that a little bit later on.
El Tigre!
Yeah, golf.
This has been Craft Brewed Sports, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to quit right now. The show is done.
Should we get into Motherfucker of the Week?
Yeah, let's get into Motherfucker of the Week. Go ahead. You set the stage for this, because this is more of like a situation that's happening right now.
Yeah, so this week, LeBron James got a little upset with Alabama and head coach Nick Saban because there's a recruiting video circulating, and they apparently in this video use some type of barber shop talk.
It was like called Alabama shop talk.
Yeah, and they spoof, barbershop ramblings and whatnot. Think Coming to America scenes.
Think like every...
Think the movie Barbershop. You'd be right on track. Anyway, apparently LeBron James thinks he created that or has intellectual rights to that, so he's suing Alabama for copyright infringement. Yeah. And basically Nick Saban was like, what the fuck is going on with that? Like, I didn't really know that barbershop talk
I did love Nick
copywritten.
Saban's quote. Nick Saban's quote was something along the line of, I've seen 20 different things about barbershops on TV. I didn't realize anybody owned that. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like just a, typical deadpan Nick Saban. LeBron responded, yeah, that's kind of what I expected him to say.
I don't honestly know what else he was supposed to say.
Yeah, I mean, So there's your choices, LeBron James or Nick Saban. Who's the motherfucker in this situation?
Yeah, who's the bigger motherfucker? And Saban did get a little pissy, so
he got super pissy.
Yeah,
he got really,
which he always does, and any of his responses.
Saban.
He went Saban with it. Never go full Saban.
But LeBron, like the fact that he's making it seem like this whole thing is infringing on, because he brought in like the players' rights, and this is. I created this platform.
Yeah,
I created this platform for players to have a voice.
I don't know where LeBron is going with this at all.
Yeah,
I don't know what ground he is to stand on.
That's the thing. I don't think he's got anything. I feel like this is going to be a very open and shut case. But yeah, I'm going to go with...
You didn't invent barbershops or talking. Next case.
The only thing that would make it better is if... Bibby, the barber, was involved in either one of these.
Bibby.
If Bibby was involved in either one of these,
I feel like Bibby should just chime in. Whoever Bibby, yeah, you're right though. Whoever side Bibby takes, I'm in.
Can we tweet at that guy and find out whose side he's on in this barbershop dispute?
We shall.
Okay, let's figure out, and that's who I'm going to vote for. Whoever Bibby is on, I'm voting for the other guy for MF.
You know what? Because I didn't vote yet.
I haven't either.
Good.
I kind of
Joe,
forgot.
can we tweet at him from the show account?
Do you have a pull?
He has no idea who Bibby is.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
All right, Joe, thanks.
Can somebody else,
we'll keep you updated throughout the show on that.
Tweet at him and tag us in it.
Yeah, Jesus, man.
So those are your options: LeBron James or Nick Saban.
How about a beer for the week, dude?
Oh, dude.
I mean, this is one that I've been excited about for months.
We ordered this one from Tavor,
minutes after the email came in?
But no, I mean, it was probably December, maybe?
When we put because remember, we did the news story about this coming out months ago. Mm-hmm. In fact, I mean, I'd argue that it was about 9 months ago, probably, that we dropped the story that it was coming out, because then it wasn't until November, and we were like, wow, that's a whiles away, but we're really excited, going to keep our eye. The minute it was available on Tavor, scooped it up.
Yeah, and initial tastes are fantastic. So let's tell you what it is.
Smell.
Yeah, the smell.
Yeah, we should probably talk about it, even though it's up on the screen for those of you who are listening to the podcast.
Cinnamon Roll by Southern Tier. Now, this is Scott's
my
other
favorite
brewery. We talked about it.
But the original favorite.
Yeah, that was weird, right, Joe?
Jigs.
This is the original. This is the McDonald's.
St. Arnold's last week that knocked this one off the pedestal in your mind.
No, just with the one beer. I didn't say that the whole brewery had been knocked off.
About that?
I said that they had the #1 pumpkin beer.
I think you...
No, stop putting words in my mouth.
All right,
or
fine.
I'll put
That's
something
fair.
in yours.
That's disgusting. Anyways, the beer? Are you going to put the beer in my mouth?
Yes.
Because I can drink it myself. So this is Southern Tier's Cinnamon Roll, 8.6% ABV. Here's the description on Southern Tier's website. They say, quote, "It's so uncannily close to fresh-baked cinnamon rolls that it was impossible to name this beer anything else." 94 on Rate Beer, 3.73 on Untapped.
It smells exactly like a cinnamon roll the moment you pop the cap.
Dude,
and I mean,
it is so strong.
Uncannily so. Is that a word? Uncanny?
Yeah, that's what they used in their description. Thank you for listening to,
I
to that portion.
Maybe that's why. Oh, oops. I was focused on the fact that Glenn said Mike is dressed like the dad who drinks all the time, and Scott is dressed like the dad who got let out of the house to play with his friend for the first time in a while.
Very accurate descriptions of both of us. That's actually a very fair assessment
Fuck you, Glenn.
of both our characters.
Anyway, though.
All right, so smell, you're on board. What your first taste of that? What were you thinking?
Amazing. Cinnamon, the sweetness, the sugar of what would be the frosting. I mean, damn
It
good.
literally tasted like I ate a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is thick mint's
Yeah.
twin. I
Yeah.
mean, exactly what you expect to taste when you sip on it. Not
Which is crazy
No
because
imposter.
we've had these beers that we take a sip and we're like, well, I guess I kind of see what they're talking about.
And we had that one a few weeks ago with the campfire that was supposed to taste like s'more, and we didn't taste any graham cracker at all.
Yeah, there's no graham cracker crust.
Very little marshmallow. It's mostly just chocolate. It's just stout.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was a good stout, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But this one,
And this is another one of the dessert beers. So I think that the dessert beers tend to have a stronger taste profile, and especially with the sweetness factor that blends in there. I mean, that thick mint, this. There's been a couple other dessert beers we had, and I think they just amp it up for that.
Yeah.
And Southern Tier, again, like with Thin Mint, I mean, as far as my money's concerned, they do it the best.
Joe, we gave you a little sip of this one. What do you think of this beer?
Pretty good.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Dynamite drop in, Joe. Taste is on point. The only thing I'm worried about with this one is that it's too sweet, and an entire bomber might be a little bit overkill. That's the only thing I'm worried about with this beer.
And I'm going to say before you get any further with that I've done the thick mint and thought the same thing. It is good for a bomber, and that's it. Anything past that, and you get sick. And I tried to do 2 bombers one night in thick mint. I got halfway through the second one, and I had to tap out because it was just really heavy. And I just couldn't do it. I have a feeling this will be the same way. But, I mean, through that first bomber, you're solid. It's good. But we'll see, because cinnamon has a stronger taste profile than the chocolate and the mint do. So this one might get a little bit heavier earlier than the thick mint might.
So what you're saying is we'll see how it holds up.
Exactly.
All right. Yes, Jim, we do let Joe drink. Jim wanted to know. If we let you
Joe
drink.
always drinks.
Joe's-
He's just not necessarily drinking
just-
what we are.
And he's not always on camera, so that's the other. Like he's pounding
see his
back
beard.
there.
He is wasted running the soundboard.
So that's your beer of the week, Southern Tier Cinnamon Roll. Stick around. Scott, you want to get into Upper Deck?
I always want to get into Upper Deck.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Absolutely. And this week, as always, Upper Deck and Craft Brewed Sports is brought to you by Minuteman Tickets. Locally owned in Columbus, Ohio by Scott and Matt, a couple of guys who are sports fans just like you and us.
Minuteman does things the right way. No trying to order tickets from a robot or paying ridiculously high fees. If you call them up, you're going to talk to a real person and avoid all of those fees that the other guys charge. And Minuteman will even sell your tickets for you.
Check them out at MinutemanTickets.com or give them a call, 614-943-3000. That's 614-943-3000 for all of your sports, concerts, or theater ticketing needs. Joe, what the fuck were you doing that made Mike giggle?
It's Tyson.
Yeah, with his shares.
Yes.
Yeah, his lies.
Saying we're at
I saw
28
it right
shares.
when I was reading, just making up stuff about shares.
But for those of you that are
Good
curious,
shtick, good shtick.
if we get to 15,
No, he's not lying.
Are you serious? We have 26 shares?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
really,
Yes.
Joe, are you lying?
is this
No,
almost like
no,
a big?
no.
Is this a big act here?
What?
We seriously have
Do we
20.
have to take a
can-
shot
I
before
mean,
we get
like,
into Upper
that's
Deck?
a
All right, wow.
Wow. All right. Well, this
Thank
is-
you, guys.
this
Holy
is
It,
how the
it
crap-
actually says 29. That's why I asked Tyson, how many are from you?
Oh, okay. So Tyson just kept hitting the share button.
You know, I don't know, but
and
they
Tyson did say "fuck the both of you,"
Okay, yeah,
which
so
was
that's fair.
also deserved.
Appreciate that you did that, Tyson.
Tyson,
Cool. So-
in our defense, you've lied before, so I mean, it's not as if we're just pulling that out of thin air.
It
but-
has been a couple weeks for the guys taking a shot for shares,
and
so
it's
we do
been a
appreciate
while,
it.
so
it's
we're
always
very
nice to
welcome.
get shares. I was just like, man, Thursday night. All right.
Yeah,
Hang on, you got to let
hurry
me
up.
pour it for a
Oh,
second.
hurry up.
Jesus. All right.
We're on schedule.
Oh, we got cinnamon whiskey now.
Cinnamon whiskey and
cinnamon
cinnamon
beer.
shots.
All right.
Cheers to you
fellas.
guys.
Thank you. All right. Well, there's the first one.
Aged cinnamon ale.
Yep, that's disgusting.
Oh my god.
Let's get to 50 shares and we'll do another one.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, first story in Upper Deck.
50 shares that aren't all Tyson.
Yeah, that's fair.
We are at 30 right now.
Oh my God!
All right, sweet.
All right, well, let's get an upper deck before we hit 50 and we have to do another shot. But Mike, what would you tell someone if they asked you, "What would I do if I punched you in the face right now?"
I would probably laugh. Like if you said, "What would you do if I punched you in the face?" I'd laugh at you.
Well, if you're former Ohio State linebacker Jerome Baker, you tell them, quote, "Coach, no disrespect, but if you punch me in the face, we're going to fight right here," end quote. In an exchange reported on This Week by ProFootballTalk.com, Baker says that an unnamed NFL coach asked him the question during a recent pre-draft interview. The coach apparently circled back to the question and told him that he asked it because he wants to see if a player is going to answer that he will fight back. He said most freeze up at the question or say that they wouldn't do anything. So at least we know that Baker will check off the box in that coach's mind.
And we know that I would freeze up.
Right. I don't even know what I would say.
I mean,
you also assume that they're kind of looking for.
it's a joke. Like I would.
Well, no, I
take
think
it
it's
as
a trick.
joke.
It's like it's one of those questions like on the Wonderlic where it's like, what
Oh, yeah,
they're
good
looking
point.
for a certain sensibility, and the answer it determines. You know,
Yeah, like if you're
whether or not you're
this
on the
guy's-
where
this
you're at
guy's
on the
out of his
psycho
mind
scale.
because
Yeah.
I made a joke and he's ready to
Exactly.
Take my head off.
So you're kind of nervous. I mean, that's why most people would
Do you think
freeze
they
up.
do it by position? Like if you're a middle linebacker and they ask you that position, they're like,
Do
"You
you
better
have
be ready to
anger
kill
issues?
somebody."
Yeah.
Or
Versus,
if you're like,
hey, if you're the punter, what does the punter
right,
say?
the punter's like, "I would just huddle over here in the corner and hope you don't hit me."
I would wait till somebody hit my leg and got a flag. Joe, what about you? What would you do if I asked you right now? What would I do? What would you do if I punched you in the face?
I'd probably just cry.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Solid response.
Super weird questions though coming out of
Your
the
wife said she shared.
combine. Oh, thanks, babe. Appreciate that. My wife Sharon
Hi,
trying
Alex.
to get me drunk tonight. She just wants to take advantage of me.
Tyson said he may have counted for 20 of the 28 shares, but so what?
Props to you, Tyson. Way to cheat the system.
You're our fan.
Thank you to the other 8 people. We appreciate you.
We appreciate Tyson and the other 8.
All right, let's talk a little hockey here. So, a Nashville fan took things a little bit too far this week in showing her anger at the NHL. So, in case you missed it, there was a controversial call in the Nashville-Florida game where a last-second Nashville goal was disallowed. It caused the Preds to lose the game 2-1. So, fans and players were obviously very upset about this. It was a very controversial call. Even though the point that Nashville would have gotten for going to overtime doesn't really matter. They've got a 3-point lead for the President's Trophy. So, with the way the season's coming out, they're likely going to win the President's Trophy. Like
Right.
that point doesn't really hurt them too bad. It's not like they're trying to separate. But anyways, they were notably upset about that. So one fan decided to show the NHL just how pissed she was. So she took Nashville's catfish idea, and we talked about this last year when they were in the playoffs, how Nashville throws the catfish on the ice and everybody gets all fired up.
And the NHL got all pissy about it.
Yeah, well, they're going to get really pissy about this because she shipped a catfish to NHL headquarters in
The
Toronto.
Predators, Jim. Quit being a dick. He said, name the team. Nashville what?
I said
No.
Preds earlier in the story.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, quit being a dick.
God,
He
Jim.
just assumes that, we're not going to.
I did my research on this story. Here's how much research I did. She spent $4.97 on the catfish, $134.50 in shipping.
What?
She spent $140 some on a joke where she sent a
I
catfish to the
missed
NHL.
that part of the story.
Yes.
$134 to ship.
Yep, $5 on the catfish, over $130.
That's why the Postal Service is going under. $134 to ship. Because, most people in their right mind would be like, wait, $134?
No,
Never mind. I'm
doing
not doing that.
Like, that better be priority overnight where the postal worker takes
They
the fish
better-
out and slaps the guy in the face.
Thank
with
you. I was just going to say, I'm like, I don't want it just to be delivered.
Yeah.
You better do a little bit extra for $134. And I better get a happy ending.
The fan was identified as Briley Meeks. Briley said that fans in a Facebook group for the Predators were joking about doing it, so she, quote, decided I needed to be that someone. I'm a huge practical joke person, and I feel this was the ultimate prank.
Wow.
It was good. Don't
It's
get me
excellent trolling, but it's from people that didn't pay all the money.
wrong.
It wasn't practical trolling.
It's not a good prank if you spent $140 some to accomplish it.
Right, that's what
That's
I'm saying.
ridiculous.
Like, trolling's only good when you can do it and it doesn't cost you anything. You're kind of getting taken twice because you're bitter, right? Because they did this before, and now I'm going to get them back. But they're not out the almost
Yeah,
$200.
right.
You are.
Well,
like,
and what's the NHL going to do when they get this catfish? They're going to be like, cool. Can we throw this away now? Like,
can we? They're just gonna pitch
It's
it.
not even like gonna stink up the offices that bad.
Yeah, there's
like,
there's no video of them opening it. Like, oh my god!
Right.
Like,
This is
there's no
literally just-
satisfaction she gets from this
all
other
she
than
did-
confirmation that it was delivered.
All she did was like the poor lady that works the front desk is gonna sign for a package
Right.
and be like, "Oh, this is gross," and
Yeah.
then she's gonna have to suffer while everybody in the fucking offices get to just, "Oh, somebody sent a catfish,"
Yeah.
and then they're just gonna laugh because she spent $140 to do it. Stupid, Briley.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Corey says disposable income much. I feel like though she
Apparently-
probably doesn't have disposable
No,
income.
not
though.
if you're willing to spend $134 on shipping.
Rich people don't spend money on stupid shit. I mean, they don't.
You're
That's
right.
crazy overzealous fan who probably couldn't afford to do that. Who did it?
No, she's gonna be very.
But he's
upset.
telling everybody it was totally worth it.
It's a she. But yeah, so there you go.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said he.
No,
My bad.
I said
My
she's
bad.
telling everybody it's totally
Oh,
worth
my
it.
bad. Bradley Meeks, you're crazy.
Yeah. Funny, but crazy. Drew Brees is a baller. Or at least he once was, maybe? Straight from the What the Fuck files, this one's interesting. Because apparently Brees has been purchasing expensive pieces of jewelry for years now. Which, that's not shocking because he's made quite a bit of money in the NFL as a starting quarterback over the years. The shocking part is the price he's been paying per piece. At a jewelry shop owned by Vahid Maradi in San Diego, Brees has been buying various pieces of jewelry, spending over $15 million in watches, rings, and various other things. Part of the reason Brees has been doing that, though, is because he's seeing it as an investment. And he says that the jeweler claimed that that they would gain value over time, and that's part of the reason why he bought them. Well, after taking them to a personal appraiser, he discovered that not only were they not worth what he paid for them, they had actually lost quite a bit of value.
Whoopsies.
Yeah. One such piece Brees paid $8 million for, a ring, and it's now only worth slightly over $3 million. Now, Maradi's camp says, though, you're stupid enough to invest in jewelry that it's not actual bars of gold, which isn't considered jewelry because you're not wearing it, then you're an idiot. Because investing in jewelry and expecting it to appreciate in value, I mean, it might, but the chances are low, and he hasn't owned this stuff for a long time. Like, usually jewelry, its value increases over a great period of time. It's not going to just overnight, boom,
Right.
you
All
bought
of a
it.
sudden
And it isn't one of those things that's just constantly going up. It fluctuates. So, Brees is just
Also,
straight up dumb. Like,
Why didn't he get
Investments 101.
Why didn't he get an appraisal before he bought an $8 million piece of jewelry? Because I feel like he's surprised by this value. Like, he's like, wait, it's only $3 million. I paid $8 million for this. Why wouldn't you get it appraised before you buy it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like, when I bought my
It's
wife's
really
engagement
weird.
ring, there was all kinds of appraisal.
Yes.
Insurance companies
Right.
make you get it appraised.
I didn't even know
like-
you did all that stuff until I bought.
I
my
know.
wife's
I was just
engagement
like,
ring.
oh yeah, this
You
is
just go buy a ring and then you go on about your day. They're like, oh yeah, we send you this and all this paperwork. I gotta go this official stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
right. I'm like, what if she says no though?
Then it's worth considerably less. Here's your value if she says yes. Here's the value if she says no. You really want her to say yes.
Can I return this? And if it's not worth the same value, can I sue you?
But I mean, this is
That's
basically.
I'm gonna go the Drew Brees route.
Yeah, but I don't understand. I mean, and silly me, I guess, for thinking, hey, a football player is any smarter than the rest. But Drew's always come off as a smarter guy. At least that's how he's portrayed in the media. You wouldn't think. I mean, there's plenty of athletes that you'd point to, Antonio Cromartie, and say that he'd probably do something like Cribs level stupid, which this is. This is putting, gold bars on your shower head because, that's so baller. I mean, it's that dumb.
But this shower's gonna be worth a shitload of money one day.
Right. And so you're just like, Drew Brees did that? I guess they're all just idiots. They're all just big dumb jocks. None of them are actually smart. The smart ones are clearly the complete outliers. So not even Drew Brees is counted among them.
Corey said he's wearing his gold bar right now.
Well, who wouldn't be? If you invest in it, you might as well wear it.
Right.
That's the other thing. Drew Brees invested in all this jewelry and he was just sitting there somewhere. He's not rocking it. He just...
I mean,
I've got an $8 million ring at home in a black box.
you are making millions, and that's your investment portfolio.
That's insane.
You're not buying stocks.
What the hell kind of money man do you have that tells you that that's a good investment either?
MC Hammer.
Yeah.
That's his money man.
Yeah.
It,
It's got to be.
All right, 2017, we'll do some beer news. 2017 was apparently a record year for craft breweries in more way than one. So according to the Brewers Association, 997 new craft breweries opened up in 2017, which is a new record. And there were also 165 breweries that closed up shop last year. Pour one out for our homies at Blank Slate. Sorry, fellas.
Too soon.
Yep. Well, I mean, they're one of the 165 that closed up. That is also a new record for 2017. But the future of craft beer looks good, with 6,266 breweries operating in the U.S. in 2017. There's also 2,500 new breweries planned across the country. According to the Brewers Association, the smaller breweries are the ones that are actually driving things in the craft beer market. The bigger, more regional breweries like Great Lakes and all those guys, they're like fighting for shelf space against that.
On the seashore.
And it's like hard to compete. And when you figure like Sam Adams, who's considered like the grandfather craft beer, is only getting like 6 or 7% of the market, maybe not even that high. You get somebody like Great Lakes, they're lucky to get 1 or 2%.
Right.
So they're struggling at that level, whereas these lower guys are just selling stuff out of their tap room and just killing it.
Yeah.
So that's where a majority of the market's going right now. And they think that that model is going to become more and more the norm. So you may not see as many breweries distributing, and more breweries are just going to go straight to consumer in the tap room moving forward. Craft beer news. You're welcome.
You killed it.
You're welcome. No jokes to be made. Just
Solid breaking news.
That's a thing that happened last year.
All right.
Well, as a since we are a big part in Cincinnati, we are obviously seeing the boom. Do you guys normally buy from tap rooms, or
No.
what do you do?
I normally buy from Tavor, and you can too. If you go to our website, craftrootsports.com, click the sponsors link.
You picked up what Joe was putting down.
If you first order, you're going to get $10 back after your first order. It's going to be a credit right into your account. Hit that up.
Yeah, and I mean, I just don't. They're not conveniently located. I mean, it's easier to go to a distribution
hard part.
place. I mean, it sucks. I would like to go straight to them.
Well,
But then I can only buy growlers and all that other stuff. I mean, the bottling's so much more convenient.
If I was in a different point in my life, I would be hitting up breweries way more. Like the fact that I've got a young kid and another one on the way, I'm not able to,
Imagine if the craft brew scene here is what it was when we were in college.
Dude.
It would have changed a lot of things.
I would have failed out so much sooner.
Moving on. All right, well...
Is my dad watching? Is he on this one?
Money well spent. So my Braves, the Atlanta version, haven't made headlines for anything worthwhile or good for about the last 5 years. But in a damn fine mood by at least their Oregon player, we've got a great headline. In this past Tuesday night's game against the Nationals, when Bryce Harper came to the plate, the Go Cubs Go theme was played. This is funny for a potential couple of reasons. First, the Nationals lost to the Cubs in the NLDS last year after being the favorites. Second, and most likely reason, is that Harper is a free agent at the end of the year, and it's been speculated for a couple of years now that not only will Harper break the bank when he signs his next deal, but that it will likely happen either in New York with the Fuck Boys from the American League or the Chicago Cubs. Either way, funny that the Oregon player for the Atlanta Braves is trolling. And I always wonder what the players think. I wonder at first if they're just like, why the hell would they play Go Cubs Go? That doesn't make any sense. And then if it dawned... Well, no, I mean, but initially, imagine that. If you're walking the plate as a visitor, you're already not expecting to hear anything because visiting players usually don't have music on their walk-ups. But then you hear that, and it takes you a second, and you're just like, wait a minute, was that the Go Cubs Go thing? What the hell was that all about? And then it's not until you kind of suss through things. And what if you get back to the dugout as Harper, and they're like, you hear that too?
You going to the Cubs, man?
Yeah, I know.
What's up with that?
You go fucking bail on us? That Oregon player knows something we don't know? What the hell, bro? Was that a clown song, bro? I wonder how that works.
It's like in Cincinnati when they would play "I Wear My Sunglasses at
Exactly.
Night" for Corey Hart.
Yeah.
Like,
You just got him trolling.
but that was just one of those where he hated that song,
Right.
And they knew that, so
and
they
it
were
has
just like,
nothing to do
cool.
with him potentially leaving the team.
Right, yeah, this one is, there's so many layers to this. Tip of the cap to the Braves for that troll job.
The only caps that are getting tipped towards them. Although they've started off
Doing
hot.
great, yeah, shut up, man. Your
4-2
team, I
playoffs.
don't even know where the Reds, they were losing when I came down here tonight.
They're going against the Angels in the World Series. I called it.
Oh, really? You gonna put some
Braves Angels.
You gonna put some beer bets on that?
I'm gonna push all the beer in the middle.
All right. Well,
All my chips.
We'll get to that a little bit later on. Actually, we're not doing MLB tonight, but maybe next week. All right. Let's wrap up Consumer Candidate because we have some breaking news that came through from Drew. We'll talk about that after. Did I say Consumer Candidate? What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways,
Jesus, man.
last story of Upper Deck. This
New
story,
night, same dumbass.
This story got extremely popular this week, but it was one we just couldn't ignore. So we've all heard that guy at golf tournaments that yells out shit as soon as the ball's hit. He's the guy who screams, "Get in the hole!" as soon as Tiger tees off on a par 5. It's like, it's not getting in the hole.
Hate that
Stop
guy.
yelling that shit, you asshole. Well, at the Masters, they run a pretty tight ship. That's right. Even white guys can get in trouble at Augusta. It's possible.
This is breaking news. Go on.
So they can get in trouble for saying any of the words on a list that were provided to security this week. On that list, the phrase made popular from the Bud Light ads, dilly dilly. So if somebody yells dilly dilly,
Good.
they're getting bounced.
Good.
And I am all in on that. Yes.
hate-
Thank you.
I hate those
Augusta.
commercials. I hate that saying. If you shout it, you're a moron. I just think in general in life, if you say it, you should be kicked out of wherever you're at. Your own home, the mall, Burger King. Somebody just gives you the boot. You say dilly dilly at the grocery store, get the fuck out.
That would be amazing if a manager comes up to you in the ice cream aisle. He's like, "Excuse me, sir.
We've got a no
We've
dilly
got
dilly
a rule about
policy.
dilly dilly.
Get out.
Like even at Dairy Queen, you can only say dilly bar. Like if you stutter, you're getting kicked out. Can I get a dilly bar? They're like, "Whoa, that's 2. Get out. You're out. Get out of here."
Life just has like that big Planet Fitness lunk alarm that'll just go off if you got say dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly alarm.
I love it. Seriously though, I'm all for this. I mean, I don't. On the one hand, though, as much as I'm excited about it, and that's funny, I also don't like Augusta being all stuffy and you can't yell stuff.
I mean, I'm fine with
Because I don't mind you yelling
no.
things. It's what they're yelling.
Right, and I think they're kind of on that same page because they gave them a list of words. It's not that they are booting them for saying anything. So they're booting them for saying specific words, and I want to know what else is on that list.
I really need to.
That's going to be Upper
See that
Deck,
list.
brought to you by Minuteman Tickets. Make sure you guys check them out. Also, thank you guys for participating in the Minuteman Bracket Challenge.
Woo!
One of our own loyal listeners won the Bracket Challenge.
Who'd that be?
Corey. Corey's actually in the Facebook feed right now. He is the
Congratulations
big
to
winner.
Corey.
Corey, I think he came in like 9th in the Minuteman
Really?
challenge too. Yeah, like he
Oh,
was up
wow.
there. We had a lot of people from our pool end up in the Minuteman as winners for Minuteman too.
Really?
Yes.
Good.
So Corey, you are going to get a 2 tickets to a NFL preseason game in Cincinnati. Have to be careful how we do that. You're
Yeah.
going to get a Boomer Esiason signed football, and you're going to get a Craft Brewed Sports T-shirt.
Size large. Did I say something funny? Corey, you were large. You're good.
So breaking news that came through. Drew texted me this, and my wife actually came down because I wasn't paying attention to my phone and told Joe to get my attention to tell me to look at my phone. It looks like FC Cincinnati to the MLS is pretty much dead. They are admitting that Oakley is not a good fit for the stadium. They don't have the backing for the West End. Newport just apparently isn't going to work for them. And it looks like because nobody in this city can get their fucking shit together, and they're going to ruin the chance at an MLS franchise in Cincinnati, FC Cincinnati is likely going to be dropped.
There was also news FC Cincinnati fired one of the main people, and MLS is deciding to back the guy that got fired, saying he was wrongfully fired. And FC Cincinnati said, "Bring it on. We'll fight you. We rightfully fired this guy."
So there you go.
Well, for those of you watching on the live stream now, and those of you listening on the podcast, I'm now going to put on my shocked face. Wait for it. All right, it's on.
All right, here's the crazy thing, though.
No,
about
I mean,
this.
for those people who actually thought that this was really going to happen, this was just one of those things that the longer it drug on, the more you had to know that it wasn't going to go down. Because in sports, if things are going to happen, they usually happen really quickly. And as soon as they started dragging their feet initially, and when I called it when the Oakley thing became an option, when they said, "Hey, we're going to build a stadium in Oakley," I'm like, "Nope, this will never happen. They won't." And from that moment on, everything just kept being a big clusterfuck, and it was embarrassing. And I just knew that the longer it went on, and MLS was going to look at it and be like, "Man, they can't handle this shit, so we're just gonna not."
Well, yeah, and that's
like
the
they may
thing.
revisit it someday, and it could always, they could just see how things go, but they're just gonna pull out because it's been too much of an embarrassment at the local level. That why would they want to get involved?
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating part is like everybody in this town seems to be all in on FC Cincinnati. Like people are a fan of the team. They really like going to FC Cincinnati games, and they enjoy supporting the team, and everybody seemed to be on board with an MLS expansion bid, but nobody really wanted to deal with all the stuff that comes along with it. So they're like, yeah, we want the team. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to build in Oakley then. No, we don't want them here. Like, we want the team, but not like here. Can you put them like
and
close to here?
And I feel like, too, everybody's all about them, and I get it. It's cool, and it's fine that everybody's excited about it, but how excited would they be if they go MLS and then prices get jacked up? I mean, there's a difference between paying these really dirt cheap prices to go,
$10 a ticket, baby.
to go
General
support
admission.
a team that you're excited about and it's new and fancy and all that stuff, but we hadn't gotten into the part where they struggled and they weren't that good, and you see how things fluctuate then, and then you add on the fact that ticket prices are going to jump dramatically from where they are. I mean, it just all signs pointed to this never happening. And then what was it? Nashville? Was that who ended up getting
Nashville
the bid
got the
over
first
them?
bid,
Yeah, and it was like that was another sign. I know we talked about it back when Nashville got it, and I said then I was like, they're not.
Well,
coming
because
here.
we talked about the fact that Nashville was going to be like the Midwest bid, and then they were going to go Sacramento and get the West Coast and kind of split up the teams because it didn't make sense to have two teams that close together.
No. When Nashville got it first, it was
Tyson
over.
said, by everybody's all in, do you mean protest by West End residents? No, I think you missed the point. Like, everybody is supporting the team, but they don't want the stadium in their part of town. So the protests by the West End residents aren't against the team. It's against having the stadium there. They're like, yeah, we like the team, but we don't like them right here. Like, put them somewhere else.
Keep them down there at UC.
Right, that's what.
But they can't stay there.
Yeah,
if they're going to be MLS, so it's catch-22.
So there's your breaking news right here on Craft Root Sports. Shout out to Drew for the text message. I'm sorry I missed. Also, Joe, I liked your dad chiming in saying it's soccer. Please, what is with
dads really hate soccer.
Dads really hate soccer, especially dads from Youngstown. They're just like, this ain't football. I don't give a shit. None of them talk like that, but that's just kind of the. Anyways, moving on. Nova wins the national championship. Did you watch any of it?
Nope.
Me
I didn't
neither.
watch a single
Cool.
minute of the tournament after Xavier lost, so whatever. Also, in my original, and I mean, it's all after the fact, but in my original bracket, when I filled it out before the final bracket closed, and I was like, I'm going to change it because I feel like everybody's going to have Villanova. I did have Villanova winning it all, and I'm not mad at myself for not having switched it because, again, it was one of those, if Duke wins, I'm going to vault up to the top because nobody else is really picking Duke. Everybody has Villanova, so it was just one of those things that I was like, I'm going to swing for the fences. Came up short. It completely eliminated me, but I did think that Villanova would ultimately win, but I just didn't pick it because I was trying to outsmart everyone, I guess.
Yeah, and I kind of had the mentality of I felt like Villanova was so good all year, and with the way the season was, they were primed to get tripped up somewhere along the way. That's why I didn't think they were going to win.
And that was why I was like, I'm not going to pick them because they've just been so good all the way through.
And
that
it was just
something
how the
stupid
season
will
was.
happen.
That's how the season was all
I
year
figured
long.
I had them losing to Duke, and then I changed it last minute and was like, no, I'll pick Duke.
That's fair. Craft Root Sports, who's this?
Oh, this is Corey.
Hey, it's our bracket winner, Corey. What's up, man?
Well, that's why I called in. Fucking dilly-dilly because I'm a fucking winner. So,
Well played.
Yep. Sorry, Corey, we were breaking up. I can't really hear you, man.
Augusta Security is going to escort you out.
Corey, I have to say,
Right.
you were very upset during the first rounds. We saw you posting in the Craft Brewed Sports group.
Minutes into the first game.
Yeah, the first game, you were just like, who is beeping in on Corey? Don't interrupt the champ, everybody. Wait till Corey's done. First game, you were just like, fuck them. They suck. And then the next game happened, you were like, fuck them too. And you ended up winning the whole thing. How the hell does that happen?
Well, because that's what winners do, and call me Mr. Dick if you want. So
He was actually
what
the
I do,
inspiration.
Fuck Wright State, fuck Kentucky, fuck fuck those fuckers in Arizona.
For sure.
So,
Cheers to that. Yep.
Or wherever.
He was the inspiration, though,
but,
for the motherfucker of the week poll when I said the guy who complains 5 minutes in that their bracket's shot. Because Corey popped in immediately, and I was like, dude, the first game just ended. How are you already complaining about the results? There's so many games to go, and then wins it all. Next year, we'll amend it to the guy who talks shit about his bracket and then ends up winning it all.
Corey,
I mean,
you had
just like dilly, this is what you got to do, and
you were.
know,
I mean, that it all came down to the last
got
game
the-
for you, right? Like you had somebody in first place who
Yeah,
had picked
I
Michigan
was-
to win.
Yeah, some fucking guy was in first place that had he had Michigan, I had Villanova, and then the people behind me all had Michigan because I was trolling them, obviously, and I was going along with Villanova, and then of course I watched 0 minutes of the game, which is hilarious because it was on a Monday night, and ain't nobody. I was watching Peppa Pig, to be honest. So,
I'm glad I wasn't
I'll
drinking
paint you a
beer.
picture of what I'm doing now. My 2-year-old is out there on his iPad with Peppa Pig on his iPad and fucking Mickey on the TV, and I'm hiding in a closet so they don't hear my mouth. So
Spoken like a true
That's kinda
father.
bad,
I
right?
salute.
yeah.
It makes me feel good
Yeah.
to know that
I'm-
another
I'm-
dad won the bracket. Like another guy that's just
Oh.
like, I didn't really get to watch any of this, but hopefully this wins.
No, seriously, I'm legitimately hiding in my closet so no one hears me in my foul mouth because my wife will come around the corner and she'll give me that look and probably, I don't know, probably throw my shit out the door or something like that since, she's tired of hearing me that I won this bracket thing anyway. Once she heard I didn't win any actually money, she couldn't have given, two shits about it.
Yeah,
But,
that's not good. That's true.
Babe, I won. What?
we've all seen the Brady Bunch episode where Marsha gets hit in the face with a football. So
Well, tell her
It
that
could
she
happen
can
with
wear a
boomers now.
Craft Brew T-shirt in remembrance of your victory from now until eternity.
You get to.
well, here's the problem with that. I can't wear a fucking large. That'll fit like on my left thigh.
Damn it.
So,
We'll get a shirt that fits you, man. You get. You can also. That's the best part about this. You get to break the news to her. Like, listen, sweetie, I won the chance for us to go to Cincinnati for NFL preseason action, and she's gonna be all in. I mean, that's the big deal right there.
That's what all
man.
wives dream of.
Yeah, ladies love
Mike-
NFL preseason
Mike-
action.
Mike, you've met my wife. You know that's not true. So,
No, I know.
But
Actually, I
you know
know.
what?
I know that, and I'm really
know.
excited about that because that means I'm probably going to get the invite to the NFL preseason game. So
Yeah,
super pumped you won,
Probably so.
Corey. I need
Probably-
your
that's a good possibility.
I need your vote on Motherfucker of the
You
Week.
guys need any picks for? Oh, my vote on Motherfucker of the Week. What was it?
You got LeBron James
I know
or
I
Nick
hit the
Saban?
thing. Well, it's a fucking LeBron James. Oh, fuck that guy.
Good call. That's a good call. Yeah, good call, man.
So
Let's
no, I
before you
did,
go
click
before
the
you go let's
link.
give since you're the golden picker, give your pick for the Masters win. Who's going to win the Masters? Coming from our all-time best picker ever in Craft Brewed Sports history.
Excuse you?
crap.
He won. He beat you.
Motherfucker. Let's see here. I'd say Justin Thomas. That's my
Justin
pick.
Thomas.
Pick
All
the
right,
win.
we're gonna write that one down, and we're gonna follow up. And if you lose, because I'm gonna follow your lead on this one, Corey, because I trust you. So if I lose, I'm going to be pissed.
boy.
Justin Thomas scores big. Corey, congrats on the win, man. Thanks
Yes,
for calling
congratulations.
Thanks.
In, All right, cheers, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. And do you need my address or anything? I mean, and
No,
my
I-
shirt
I
size,
gotcha.
my
Actually, if you
shirt
could send your
size,
social security number, address, and
okay.
phone number, that'd be
28
great.
All right, cheers, Corey. Good talking to you, bud.
Dilly dilly.
You son of a bitch. I was hoping Joe would cut it off before.
Fireball.
Oh,
Are we
man,
at 50?
Another one. Wow, what a Thursday
We are at
night.
51.
Wow.
What a Thursday night. Thank you, Tyson, and everybody else.
I am very happy with this turnout
I
and
think
this
JB also
participation.
got in on this. Dude, we're going to kill this fireball tonight. All right, well, 100 shares. 100 shares, and we'll do 100 shares, and we'll finish this bottle. How about that?
Yeah.
You going to
fine.
block your camera, bro?
First time I've been on TV.
Yeah, understandable. All right.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. 50-some shares. Good Lord. I like that everybody just wants us to be hungover for work tomorrow.
Good God.
Ugh. All right. Yeah, thanks. Drink bitches, JB. Appreciate that, man. Joe's dad said they like preseason about as much as soccer in Cincinnati.
Also
Fair
true.
enough. Drew was the one that was calling in, so sorry, Drew. Feel free to call back in. He's saying that Cincinnati is once again being a minor league city in regards to FC Cincinnati, and they are. Whatever. Let's move on. So you didn't watch any of the game. I didn't really watch any of the game. All I know is DiVincenzo went the F off, which surprised everybody in the country except for fans of the Big East. Everybody who watches the Big East was like, yeah, that kid hits threes nonstop.
I just know them as a team. It wasn't shocking. In fact, the last two
he
games
came off the bench and scored
No,
30
that's
some
fine.
points, and
But
everybody's like, "That's amazing." It's like, no, that's what this dude has done all year long.
That's fine. But in general, I was just very happy that when Villanova won, like their last two games especially, they were shooting lights out from three. It made me feel good about those two Xavier
Yeah.
losses because it
that's all
felt
they
like
do.
Jesus. Well, no, I just felt like Jesus against Xavier. You know, we always seem to find the team that's super hot from wherever they're shooting, and it's like, does our perimeter defense suck, or are we just always in that category of they had a hot night against us? So it was nice to see Villanova light up other people, and it's like, yeah, that's we know all about that.
Yep, we know the feeling on that one. Yeah. All right, so there's your national championship talk for the week, because who cares at this point? It was Villanova, Michigan. Nobody really cared about that national championship. As excited as everybody was,
It was the overall feel of the tournament. Because
really
there
was.
was no favorite and there was no
and we talked about that.
yeah.
Like it was cool
it
to
was
have a
just
season where it was wide
whatever.
open. But if you're not the team that's winning the wide open tournament, you don't give a shit.
Nope.
So, F it, move on. National championship game's done. This happened today, and I was super excited when this news broke. Conor McGregor lost his goddamn mind today. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
I
but
did.
At a UFC Media Day, Conor McGregor and all of his boys stormed in and then proceeded to throw like a hand cart at a bus that was carrying the 155-pound competitor.
Did he throw like one of the metal?
It was like
gates?
the metal, the railings that
Yeah.
like, holds the crowd back. He whipped that at somebody. Lost his mind. Apparently, there was a warrant out for his arrest. I don't know if that was actually true or not. But supposedly,
I don't
his
know if any
plane
of this
was
is
grounded.
actually real or not.
That was going to be my question. Knowing how Conor McGregor's press conferences are and how it seems that he is so bananas and like it's
over
like,
the top.
It's like, oh, that press conference was funny. It couldn't have been real.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this was a staged event?
Absolutely. The UFC has been struggling recently. They've been losing, Jones has all his problems with legalese, getting banned and all that stuff. I mean, all their big name guys, even in McGregor's case, has been doing things that don't involve UFC. I mean, he's off boxing. You've got Ronda Rousey and WWE. I mean, they're struggling because of all their big names seemingly doing other things or nearing the end of their UFC career, and he's the last thing that they're kind of trying to hold on to. What better way to bring him back into the fold than to have this whole big old thing where he loses his mind and throws all this stuff? and now everybody's talking about UFC for the day. I totally think that this was a staged thing.
And I think I think what likely happened in this case was they were like, "Hey, Conor, here's what we want you to do. We're gonna do this media day. We want you to come in at the end and just like get crazy and be loud and like try to stop the bus and bang on the windows." And Conor was like, "Okay," and then took it way too far.
Oh no, I definitely think
there was a fighter that had to withdraw from the fights because he got injured, and I don't know.
I
names
definitely think
UFC.
that McGregor went over the top with it, but I also don't think that they were that upset with the fact that everybody was talking like this.
No, I
blew
think this was 100% the intended idea of, all right, McGregor, show up in Brooklyn and
we need to get our names back out there.
Just do your Conor thing. And he was like, "Great, I got you."
I'll turn it up to 11.
No, not that Conor thing.
We were hoping you went like a 9.5.
We
you
want
went
you
11.
we want you to be presser Conor McGregor, not fighting the Irish mob Conor McGregor.
We want you to be professional soccer in Cincinnati, but we don't want you in Cincinnati. Yeah, it was the same exact thing. Yeah. We really want this, but nowhere near us. Cool. Can we have our cake and eat it too? Yeah, that's what we want. So, no, I mean, I think this was staged. I think Dana White's in on it. He probably orchestrated the whole thing. But, yeah, I mean...
And he was the one that tweeted out that there's an arrest warrant out for Conor McGregor. His plane is grounded.
Right,
like,
and does anybody really believe that he was going to have his premier star guy
tweet that one out, Dana?
get arrested?
Yeah. If this was like a legit thing where your main attraction is now there's a warrant out for his arrest, you are not going to say a goddamn word.
Right.
You were just going to sit there and be like, I hope this blows over real soon.
He was doing his best Vince McMahon, and kudos to him. He did it really well.
So that begs the question, like, obviously UFC isn't fake. It's not WWE where it's like where it's fixed. Well, I mean,
they can drum up
fixed, but there's
drum up
fighting
stuff.
Yeah, do you think
to get them
how much of the UFC do you think is this kind of weird? It's real, but not really real. Like, it's all set up.
I think all of it that you don't see in the ring. Because think about it. Their matches generally don't last very long. So it's kind of like football when you take the action clock and you really look at it, how much time is actually happening. These matches aren't very long. The things generally go pretty quickly. They rarely go the distance. So, I mean, the actual event itself, there isn't that much there to see on most good events. And so what else do you have to do? I mean, that's where you probably borrow a page from the WWE's playbook, and you have to amp up all the other stuff. I mean, the pre-fight stuff, the interviews, all of that you have to go kind of crazy with to get everything talked about, and I think that's where it becomes a little fake. I mean, I don't think that any of these guys necessarily like each other, and I don't think that they have to go a long way to make some of the things happen. But they definitely say, hey, you know, if you want to act real ridiculous, we're here for it. I mean, that's you see how they act in WWE? We wouldn't be upset if that's how you acted.
How many other sports do you think are going to follow that model? Like, how many other, you see these press conferences.
Baseball should.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you see these press conferences where we get, like, instances where quarterbacks walk out of a press conference and it starts this media firestorm. How much of that shit is, like, planned or fake on the side?
See, in other sports, I don't necessarily think it matters because they don't. When you're talking about UFC, like I said, the matches are just so fast and they're so violent, and like, you know, guys can go down within the first minute of a fight, and that's it. I mean, even if there's not much quote unquote action in a football game, the thing still takes 3 hours and you're still occupied for most of it. I mean, you could literally show up for a fight in UFC, and if you just show up for the main event and you're not really paying attention to the undercard stuff, you watch 2 minutes worth of action and that's it. I mean, they don't have much to actually sell on a lot of these matches. So all the extra stuff before, I mean, the other sports just don't need it. I mean, if guys are big personalities and they do stuff that, they're not upset if it happens, but I don't think they're encouraging. Like in UFC, I think that Dana White is like, hey, go out there and make yourself, you know,
I think there's still some element of that in other sports, where other sports are almost encouraging guys to become a personality. Like, if you
not
think
in the
about,
NFL. In the NFL, they don't want
the,
those guys
the
to be
NFL
personalities
doesn't
at
want
all.
that. The
They want them
NFL
to be
doesn't want that, but
robots.
the teams want that because that generates money. That generates fans to buy jerseys,
I
to become fans.
guess.
Like if you look at Kelsey from the Eagles, nobody would have known that dude's name, and now all of a sudden,
From the Eagles or for the Chiefs?
for the Eagles, the dude that went on the rant at the Super Bowl parade,
Oh, okay.
the
So
Chiefs'
his brother. Yeah, I was gonna say. So
I don't know his first name. Craft Root Sports.
Travis
is this.
Kelsey's from Kansas City.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tank. How's it
Hey,
going?
Hey,
Tank,
Tank, what's up,
man?
buddy?
Chiming in as we're talking
Hey.
UFC. Well done, man. You saw the bat signal.
Yeah. I just got out of practice and I kicked on my phone and saw you guys were talking about it, so I wanted to call in and do some Conor talk.
What's your take on this, man? Do you think it's all fake? Do you think Conor's like just losing his mind? Like how do you feel this whole thing is going down?
Man, my take on it is this. I think it's a combination of if the hero lives long enough, he eventually becomes the villain. And after Conor worked with Floyd, he can see that. Look, I mean, where else is there for him to go as the good guy? He's won the 145, but he's won the 155 belt. If he comes back, he's taking on guys that got a pretty good shot of beating him. Why not be the heel? Try that on for size and see what kind of money you can make off it. And I mean, this is setting it up to where who doesn't want to see Khabib versus Conor now against each other in Russia? I mean, it's a pretty easy story to write itself.
And that kind of goes back to the whole point of like maybe this is all just a setup from Dana White, where it's just like, hey man, like fire the base up. Get
I don't have
everybody
any
fired up.
problem with that being the case, but I definitely think it's the case.
Yeah, I think it's where UFC is smart enough to borrow from pro wrestling. I think that that they realize that there is definitely money in that. The thing that I don't think they planned for was for somebody to get injured out of this. If it would have just been the thing where it's like, hey, these guys, they come and they fuck up a van, they bust a fender up on it, they bust up the hood. Okay, big deal. But when one of his boys like checked that guardrail or hand cutter and busted the glass, he ended up lacerating Michael Chiesa, and now it's questionable if he can fight on Saturday. I think that's when it went a little too far, and what it was supposed to be got a little out of hand.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they wanted them to come in and just be rowdy and bang on the hood of the van or whatever, and then Conor was like, I'm gonna Conor this shit up. I'm not just gonna bang on the hood. I'm gonna be Conor McGregor, and I'm gonna throw shoes and water bottles and whatever I can get my hands on. Oh, what's this? A railing? Sweet, I'm throwing that shit too, because he's Conor goddamn McGregor, and he's gonna do whatever the hell he wants. So do you think that fight happens now, Tank? Oh, I was just gonna say, do you think that fight happens now, Khabib and Conor?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to. Well, here's the thing. I think this also goes back to the Vince McMahon thing. When, the back in the day when the UFC wasn't doing too well, Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon's son, tried to get the WWE to buy the UFC. And Vince McMahon said, why would I buy something when I can't control who the winner is? And that is the problem you have with this. Is Khabib going to win on Saturday? Yeah, probably. I mean, Tony's out. Khabib, and Max stepped in because, Max has got balls the size of a fucking, dump truck tires. But, at the same time, he's probably going to lose to Khabib, and then that sets us up. But what if? What if, Max Holloway takes his fight on 6 days' notice, steps up, and, defeats the undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov? I mean, that could happen, and, that's not scripted. That's real.
But I think either way. So and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll admit I'm not a big UFC fan. But Max is 145, right? Normally.
I'm sorry. Repeat that. You broke up a little bit.
Is Max 145 normally?
Yeah, Max is normally 145, and
Khabib is 155.
155. So
okay,
he's
so
definitely gonna have a weight advantage on him.
And Conor was just forced to give up the belts at 145 and 155, right?
They're talking about that. They're talking about stripping him of the title, and that's another reason why.
So no matter who wins this, a fight with Conor McGregor could happen, because McGregor can either go to 145 or he could stay at 155 and fight. So either way, this is set up in a way that no matter who wins this fight, McGregor could fight them, and it was scripted perfectly.
Right. And they've been talking about trying to get a fight going in Russia for a while now. And this really sets it up well. If they can set it up to where you get Khabib versus Conor in Russia, Ireland versus Russia, and the Irish travel huge for Conor. So I totally believe that there will be, just like they do when they come to Vegas, there will be a ton of Irish dudes showing up in Russia, which would be crazy.
Mike does travel well.
I really do. Joe just called me out and said I had Fireball left in this. I didn't.
You do. Finish that, bitch.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize it.
I think that could be that could definitely be a moneymaker for him. The one thing that makes me laugh is like I see some people online that are going, oh, Danny needs to fight. If Danny doesn't fight with Conor, then what's that? Oh, it's a weakness, it's a pussy. And it's like, why would he fire Conor McGregor? Because if he fires Conor McGregor,
he's got
he's
nothing
out of his contract. Yeah, you just let him out of his contract. Now he's the hottest free agent in the world, and he can just go do his own, do the Money Mayweather thing. Just make your own promotion, have your own pay-per-view fights. Connor's a one-man marketing machine that people will pay. It's past people paying for the UFC. People will pay for Conor McGregor. So he doesn't need the UFC branding on him. He's a bigger deal if he's just Conor McGregor.
Yeah, we're at a place where right now the UFC needs Conor more than Conor needs the UFC.
And Conor knows that 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
He knows that 100%.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
He knows it because he got that fight with Mayweather. That cemented the fact that he doesn't need him.
And he can make that bank again just stepping back in the boxing ring. He doesn't need the UFC.
Which is why this was all staged.
Yep. Tank, who's your vote? You may have missed the beginning of the show. Who's your vote for Motherfucker of the Week? This week we have LeBron James versus Nick Saban for their legal battle over who owns the rights to doing barbershop talk.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Fuck Saban, then now forever. So get
Fair enough.
Solid reasoning.
Tank, it was good hearing from you, man.
Thanks
Cheers,
for call, buddy.
Oh, hey, one more thing real quick. WrestleMania this weekend, so make sure you all watch that. I'm not super excited for it. I really don't care about the main event, but Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, man, if you only watch one pro wrestling match this year, that's the one.
Is Taker fighting this WrestleMania?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Cena keeps calling him out, but Taker's not showing up. I'm really worried that he retired the Dead Man last year, and we're going to get fucking Attitude Era biker Taker coming out to the rolling. What?
That's no good.
I'm gonna play that.
No one wants that.
That's no good. That's awful.
No one
that's
wants biker Taker. No.
Yeah, nobody wants that guy. That guy was the worst.
No. And especially since they're inducting Kid Rock into WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Look, unless The Rock shows up, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna straight to the point.
WrestleMania is getting really MAGA this year.
More so than usual. All right, Tank. Thanks for the call, bud.
Have a good night, bud.
All right, well, hey man, and to all of you, man, to the entire crew, congratulations, you guys making the move to Thursday. I think you got something here, and I saw it already with like all those shares. I think it's gonna be a big night. So rock and roll, man. Congratulations on the move to Thursday.
Thank you, bud. We appreciate it.
Bud.
All right, take care, y'all. Peace out.
Bye.
All right, there you go. There's your WrestleMania and your UFC news.
Thanks for covering that, old Tank.
Tank kills it every fucking time.
He's so good.
I love it. I can't wait for him to start writing again. Anyways, real quick basketball news. Kyrie Irving out with some knee issues. The same knee that he said was bothering him and why he wanted traded from the Cavs.
Crazy. Cavs Warriors finals. Warriors in 6.
Joe, does this change your...
Moving on.
No. It'll still be the Cavs and the Rockets.
Moving on.
We for those of you that are new to the show, we have a bet going on between Scott and Joe. Scott says the Rockets will win the West. No, Scott says the Warriors win the West. Joe says the Rockets will win the West. And the loser Yeah, I have the Warriors winning like they're going to, and Joe has the Rockets. It's Scott has the Warriors.
Has the Rockets. But anyway, loser is going to have to bong a beer. No, not just any beer. We Beast Ice has been
the same punishment that I went through. Speaking of that, we're running a little low on time, but shall we do the white motherfucker question?
Sure. Joe, close the phone lines.
Just real quick, this will be a quick one.
We're doing white motherfucker.
Last time we did this, I got the question right.
About Tony Braxton.
So that means I get to ask Scott a question to find out if he is a white motherfucker. We don't have any Smirnoff Ice, so if you get this right...
I'll just do a shot of Fireball. Or no. If I get this wrong, I'll do a shot of Fireball.
Okay, that's fair enough.
No, actually, no. I'll do a shot of Hypnotic, because, you always do the Hypnotic.
Okay, fair enough. Eazy-E, 1990s
Never
rapper.
heard of him. I'm screwed.
What is his real name?
Oh my
Are
god.
you fucking kidding me? I thought this was such a
no,
layup.
no.
Are you
I know.
serious
You
right
said
now?
you said it was a layup, and now I'm completely blanking.
Oh my god.
And this makes
my
me
God.
the whitest of motherfuckers.
I thought this was the biggest layup.
I know. And I'm never going to get my black card back again. I don't know if I had it to begin with, probably based on some of the people who are going to comment on this, but
Scott, I can't believe.
I'm telling you right now, it's the beer. It's one of those, oh my God, as soon as you say it, I can't. I can. Right now, I just.
Eric Lynn Wright.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Wow. And you're going to block your camera. No, you need to.
'Cause I've still never
Everybody
been on
needs to
TV.
see this happen. Oh my God, I can't believe you missed that.
I told
Let's
you.
bring the phone lines back up. 440-37-DRUNK. If there's anything that you want to talk about, feel free to call in. Let's talk Masters. And here's what we're going to do with this. We have decided to do...
Jordan Spieth is back.
Here's somebody to tell you how much of a white motherfucker you are. Kraft. Oh,
Fuck,
you
man.
answer. I thought you answered. Craft Root Sports, who's this?
Hey, why you ducking my call, man?
It's Drew.
You
Hey,
called
Drew.
in at the same time, man.
We were talking to the champ, Drew. I'm sorry, man.
I don't give a shit. That's just an excuse. That's not a reason.
Fair enough.
I'm sitting here busting my ass while I'm supposed to be learning and giving y'all breaking news updates. And all
No,
I'm
I
getting is a
appreciate that,
cold
man.
fucking shoulder.
No, there was no cold shoulder intended. I appreciate the breaking news. We gave you the props that was needed.
I am the whitest of motherfuckers.
Oh, no,
Drew,
no, no.
Drew,
no,
what's
I'm not
Easy's-
even worried about
what's
the
Easy's
props.
real
What
name,
I'm
do you
worried
know?
about is the fact that your producer is useless, and I had to get your gorgeous wife to go and get you to pay attention. That's what I'm worried about.
Flattery will get you nowhere. Continue.
Joe's face right
Guys, I don't need to go anywhere, buddy. I'm good. I'm just looking out for the greater CBS community, man.
So, Drew, you're saying Cincinnati is just a minor league city.
You
True.
goddamn right. That's the only excuse for this kind of nonsense. Let's be realistic, boys. The Bengals are leaving. Like, it's going to happen. Because you know Mike Brown's cheap ass isn't going to want to build a new stadium on his dime. And you know for damn sure Hamilton County is not going to do it again. So why would he stick around in this city? They can't
He's
fucking
gonna
win
die.
here. We're
He's
all
not gonna.
cursed. So why would the Bengals stick around? So then we're going to be stuck with what? The Reds? I mean, I don't understand why everyone would be so short-sighted to deny another pro franchise in this city.
No,
Like,
I
I
agree.
understand there's stigma around it from some people with misinformation, but frankly, when you have things like this, it draws in other areas, other people, other attention. Look at the All-Star game a couple years back. It was a huge success for the city, but that doesn't happen if the Reds aren't in Major League Baseball. Additionally, you don't get all of the overflow activities like the
World Cup, the
co-
U.S.
well,
bid
the
for the
World
World Cup
Cup,
coming up.
the conference speaking engagement type things. There's all kinds of other shit that happens in the sporting community. behind the
RNC
scenes
lost
that
that
still gives-
bid.
What?
The RNC, and I was being serious. They did lose the Republican
what?
National Convention.
You know what? Let's be real. Like, you may disagree with their political beliefs, but they still pay money to people to stay in their hotels, eat at their restaurants, drink at their bars.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like the Cincinnati couldn't even lock down the bid for that. They gave it to Cleveland.
Coughlin.
Right. And what the fuck? Who wants to be in Cleveland?
Coughlin. Sorry, just correcting it before it happened. So, Drew, is it done? Is it dead completely? Like, are we just stuck with the USL team at this point? And when I say stuck with, I still think it's fun to go see FCC games.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's fun. But dude, it's going to be fun in the same sense that going to Cyclones games is fun,
Right.
or the Dayton Dragons. It's like a kitschy kind of like whatever thing you do, but you're not going to have your relatives fly in from another city in the country to see their team play your team, or some kind of rivalry game where it's like, hey, I'm in Cincinnati for a week. What should I do? Oh, I'll go catch an FC match today. They're playing New York Red Bulls. It's a rivalry. That kind of stuff
My
is not gonna
relatives
be
wouldn't
there.
have flown in anyways. So.
Whatever. But again, it's the short-sightedness of things, and everyone's so fucking greedy they can't sort it out. When to me, it's an easy problem. You get them a stadium, and you help continue to build this city up. Because let's be realistic. Right now, a lot of the growth we're seeing here is supported by the fact that the economy has been so good for the past decade. when shit turns south, what does Cincinnati have to rely on? What is our major markets? Like, who is here drawing revenue? Fucking no one, dude. And yet we're going to thumb our nose at a professional sports franchise coming in offering to pay through the nose compared to anyone else.
Well, I think that's the worst part. Here. You're never going to find another ownership group that offers to pay for the stadium. Like that's the bottom line. We will never find that again. So the fact that we're going to lose that is not good. Drew, we got to roll, man. But I appreciate the call, bud.
Thanks for calling, man.
Hey, oh man, you know how I am. I love this thing. I'm not even drunk though, which is weird.
That is weird.
Well, it's Thursday, man. So next week, get ready for next week.
Oh, just give me 45 minutes.
All right. Cheers, buddy. Good talking
Bye,
to you, man.
Drew.
All right, later, boys.
See ya.
Oh, wait, one last thing. Hey, Scott.
Yo.
Who's your stylist?
Hang up. Hang up. Cut him off.
All right, we got like a minute to go. Here's what we want to do going forward for major events. We are going to do some betting. And here's how Craft Brewed Sports betting is going to work. I am going to give you guys some yeah, go ahead. Just talk a little bit louder.
Close the drunk line, Joe. All right, Jesus. I thought I could do it. These sweet new mics picked up my close the drunk line.
Yeah. Anyways, Jesus. What we're going to do is we are going to do bets for major sporting events going forward. The way we're going to do this is we're going to base this on Vegas odds, and all of us are going to get to pick who we want to bet on. All right, so based on those odds,
real quick, is it fucking Tyson wants to know a legit question, and
okay,
I don't know. Which is the worst choke, Xavier in the tournament or Kaiser with Eazy-E's last name?
You with Easy. Moving on, that was a bad choke job, man. I can't believe you didn't know Eazy-E's name. I literally
son of a bitch. I
but
knew
the reverse
when you were
psychology
hyping
worked.
It up. Yeah,
the reverse psychology
you
worked.
hyped it up. You're gonna know that. I told you. It fucked me.
Crazy.
He had AIDS. I knew that. I knew he had AIDS. He had the AIDS. All right, go ahead.
He was at the end of Crossroads. You saw him in the sky.
Yeah. He always wore a Sox hat. I mean, there's that. Fuck me.
Can you name an Easy song right now?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, not if you ask me.
You now have to memorize and recall back every week, every Eazy-E song.
You couldn't come up with Boys in the Hood right there?
That was actually what I was thinking, but I was trying to get to the chorus in my head. I was like, wait a minute, what? Oh, yeah. Which is funny because I can rap more of that verse, more of that song than I can think. I am failing tonight.
You know the Dynamite hack version of it. You don't know the Eazy-E version.
Jesus Christ.
All right, anyways, we are going
because the Boys in the Hood is always hard. All right, go ahead.
Come talking that trash, we'll pull your card?
Yeah.
All right.
Smacking the bitches. Jacking the hoe. Go ahead.
All right, so we're going to place bets on sporting events. These are going to be drink bets. They're going to be based on the same odds as in Vegas. So you get to bet the number of drinks that you want, and then the payout is going to be the same. So if you win, you are going to bank that number of drinks, and you get to divvy those out to somebody else on the show at any point you want. So you can then, let's say Joe gets it right with Tiger Woods winning the Masters. Tiger is a 10-1 odds favorite to win the Masters, so if he bets a drink, he then has 10 in his bank that he gets to divvy out to us whenever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to make this show super fun going forward once we get a bank built up. So let's start off with the Masters since we're talking about that. Joe, am I right with your bet that Tiger Woods is going to win the Masters?
No. If I'm actually betting,
wait a second, hang on.
Bullshit.
Hang on,
before
hang on.
tonight.
No,
before
hang on.
today.
Yeah, before today, would you have bet on Tiger Woods? Before he finished +1 today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Then that's your bet. Then that's your bet. Moving on.
Joe's betting on Tiger.
Yeah.
Who's your bet, Scott? Do you want me to run through some of these names? Do you want to run through some odds?
No,
you've got the odds there.
I would have even already done it. I was gonna go with Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson.
Before it started,
12-1 odds.
That was who I picked to win it.
Okay, so Scott's
regardless, ignoring all the Tiger bull crap, that was who I picked.
Scott's got Dustin Johnson. Joe has Tiger. I've got the burps. I was gonna go with Rory McIlroy.
Okay,
Go
fair.
with the Irishman on that one. Also,
shocker.
Right. Also 12-1 odds. So those are our bets for the Masters. Whoever wins, yeah. What do you got? Joe?
well, I was just gonna say, after day one, would you guys like to know where they are on the leaderboard?
Sure.
Yeah, I know your guys at +1.
Yeah, and way behind at like 29.
Rory's,
So
Rory's
Rory,
like even.
Rory is T4 at 3 under.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger is T29 at 1 over. And Mr. Dustin Johnson is also T29 at 1 over.
Oh, shit. Here's the problem, though. Here's how this works out, though. If none of these three win, we all have to do a shot together.
That's fine.
Because we're all betting
but
a
here's
beer,
also
right?
the thing. I picked somebody who wasn't, the hyped up asshole for the last couple of weeks.
Wait a second.
Off of false
right. Off the last couple of weeks.
He's not a false.
I was going to say
he's not a false prophet.
Justin Johnson was the favorite last year.
No. That's what I'm saying. He's not a
okay.
false prophet of the last couple of weeks.
Okay, fair enough. The other big sporting event that's going to be starting up before we record our next episode is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Everybody's read JB's article that Nashville may not be up to stuff to
That was a really good article.
It was a great article. Nashville, however, is the odds-on favorite to win the Stanley Cup at 9-2 odds.
Shit. I picked the Golden Knights at the beginning against the Penguins, and I'm sticking with them.
Scott going with
I had the Penguins.
Vegas.
No. But I had the Penguins winning it all over the Golden Knights.
So
I just
you
had the
got
Golden Knights.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Pittsburgh is going to win it all, but they're going to face the Golden Knights in the finals.
Pittsburgh 8-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup currently. I was tempted to go with Washington just to be like
Just to be an idiot.
Eventually they got to do it. I picked them last year and they failed me, but maybe this is the year.
No.
Nope, it's not going to be them. But I don't think it's going to be Pittsburgh. I don't think it's going to be Nashville. I'm going Tampa Bay as my bet. Tampa Bay's 5-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup. So I am betting on Tampa Bay. Thanks for the kiss of death, Tampa. You're fucking done. You may not even make the playoffs. They're like up there right now. They may not even make the playoffs. Their
would
whole
be
team is
hilarious.
just gonna like fall apart,
Just
and they're not even
die.
gonna make it. Joe, who's your bet for the Stanley Cup?
Got to go with the hot hand all season, Vegas.
Vegas. All right. So Joe is betting on Vegas. Scott is betting on Pittsburgh. I am taking Tampa Bay. All near favorites.
The Blue Jackets
on
also
that
just
one.
clinched a playoff spot. Thank you, Tyson Thorpe, for dropping that.
Good for them. They
breaking
are
news on
33-1 odds to win the Stanley Cup. So basically,
They won't be winning shit.
have fun in the first round, Columbus. All right, let's get into Consume It or Can It.
Brought to you by.
No? Are we not getting into Consume It or Can It?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
time. Get into consumer can it, Joe.
Those are the bets,
We
Joe.
told you.
We did the bets.
Brought to you by Tavor.com. This is Consumer or Can It. This week, Consumer or Can It, we are with Southern Tier's Cinnamon Roll Imperial Ale. Mike, lead things off for us.
Consuming the shit out of this beer. Here's what I like about this beer. A lot of times when you have a really flavorful, like cinnamon flavor, or they'll do it with chocolate beers, it's a stout or a porter. The fact that this is an ale is awesome. And that's what I like too about Southern Tier's Plum King. It's an ale. It's not a porter. It's not a stout. So it's not as heavy. This beer is a little bit lighter, even though it's 8.6%. It's more drinkable, even though the fact they still have a whole beer left here. But that's because of the shots, not because of the beer itself. Anyways, really good drinkability. Consuming the shit out of this beer.
This beer was a consume when it was announced. When we did our first ever, hey, they're coming out with this cinnamon roll beer, I knew it was a consume then. Not a single thing deterred me from the ordering of it back when it came out, to the 3 extra months we waited from actually getting it, to when we cracked it open till now. This was a consume, and I will say that I do believe that this is enough. You get one bomber and you're good to go.
Yeah, don't
It's
go more than one
It's
bomber.
very heavy. The flavor is strong, so you're just gonna get sick of the flavor after a bomber. And I mean, a bomber is equal to what? About two and a half.
beers.
Yeah, is
2
it-
beers plus a little bit more.
Yeah, okay,
No,
so-
actually, I take it back. It's a little bit less than 2 beers. A bomber's
Is it?
22 ounces.
Oh, okay.
So you're a little bit less than 2 beers.
All right. Well, I mean, somewhere around 2 beers
at
of these.
8.6% though.
Yeah, and I mean, but I'm just saying, if you were getting this in a 6er, which they do sell them, Southern Tier always does them in the 4-packs.
Yeah.
So if you got a 4-pack and you had 2 of them, I'd call that a night. Like, do not try to go through all 4 of these. It'll just be too much. It's really heavy. It's really flavorful, and it'll kick your ass. So if you get a bomber, stick with 1. If you get a 4-pack, go for 2. But either way, absolute consume. There was no doubt in my mind, and it delivered.
Joe, as somebody who doesn't really like dark beers, even though this isn't really a dark beer, it's an ale, consume it or can it?
Super sweet. I'd probably consume about a half of a beer. So, like, if it came in like one of those snifter, shorter, smaller glasses, the tulips or whatever, I'd probably drink it. So it's a consume.
All right, well, there you have it.
I would drink a tester of this. I would just have like a little nip. All right, fair enough, man. So you think it's too sweet? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
It's too
yeah.
sweet?
I thought it was. I mean, it's very heavy on like the cinnamon and the like icing flavor that you get from a cinnamon roll. But that's
Which
just
is the
me.
best part.
That's
of
just
the
me
cinnamon
thinking.
roll.
You know,
Nobody cares
it's just
about
sweet.
the roll itself. You just
Right.
want all the cinnamon and the sugar. Real quick, I was thinking about it while Joe said that. This reminds me of the pumpkin ales because of the flavors, and
Yes.
I think that's why I like it a lot.
Because their pumpkin ale is very cinnamony.
Yes, and that it just dawned on me that that's a thing. But we got a couple people saying, "Oh my God, the show's already over."
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Keeping it tight. Here's what we're doing. It's Thursday night. You guys we all have to work on Friday. We want to keep the show tight. You can fade out the music, Joe. Consumer Candidate brought to you by Tavor. Thank you, Tavor, for this amazing beer. If you guys want beers like this, go to our website.
Southern Tier is still the king.
Southern Till.
Southern Till. They
but yeah,
till the best.
So this was our first week at Thursday night. First week doing the show at 8:30. We wanted to we kind of let the show balloon. The show had gone a little off the rails where we got a little too drunk, got a little too crazy, rambled a lot. We want to keep the show a lot tighter, keep it closer to like an hour 15 to an hour and 30 minutes.
And look, we talked about it. The show can be good when we go a long ways, and when we have a lot to talk about, it's great. Other times it kind of dragged, and we thought maybe things were getting dragged down a little bit. Friday night, people aren't necessarily sticking around or tuning in for the whole thing. And we appreciate the loyal listeners who do from start to finish hang out and do all that stuff, but you get a little bit more of your Thursday night, and you get
And shout out to you guys for sharing the show. We really appreciate that.
Right.
For those of you that have seen us for the first time tonight, go like the Facebook page. Follow us. We're going to do these shows every Thursday night.
Holy crap, we did get
8:30.
55 shares, though.
That's really freaking amazing.
Proof that this was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
So thank you guys for doing that. We really, really appreciate it. Joe, before we close out the show, why don't you let us know who wins the Motherfucker of the Week poll this week? We had LeBron James
or
versus
Nick Saban.
And if you missed the beginning of the show, they are arguing over a beef over barbershop
Talk.
videos. Like, we were in a barbershop and we're talking and I own that. Who wins?
So who you guys never said your picks? So who are your picks?
I'm voting for LeBron in this one.
I was just going to say, LeBron actually gets it, even though I think that overall between the two of them, Nick Saban is a bigger motherfucker
he's definitely a
in
bigger
general
motherfucker.
in life.
In
but
this situation.
yeah, LeBron is the bigger motherfucker
Yes.
for this week.
It was a close one. We have 53 to 47 in the percent.
Wow.
On?
That's like one vote.
Winner / biggest douche is Mr. Nick Saban.
Wow. It's the Saban.
I think the name. I was gonna say it's the name factor.
Some people didn't even read it. They were
Yeah,
just
I
like,
know. They just
Saban's
saw
a bigger douche than
Saban's a
LeBron.
motherfucker. I don't know what's going on. Did he breathe?
Yeah.
Did he save a puppy from a burning fire? He's still a motherfucker this week because Nick Saban. I saw the name.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think people actually read what
they
was
had
going
no
on
idea.
there.
They have no
Because
idea
if
what
you
the
know
story
the situation,
is.
LeBron
is definitely the bigger
he's
motherfucker.
Such a motherfucker for this. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in on a Thursday night. We really appreciate you guys sitting in with us,
Hey,
hanging out,
This
sharing the show.
is your new norm. We will be here every Thursday night, mostly. 8:30 ish. And we will be giving you the same great show. We will try to keep it to an hour and a half, and that's just what it is. But you guys drive this show. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for the calls.
Thank you for joining in. Yes, thank you for the calls.
Be sure to follow the show at Craft B Sports. You can follow me at Mike Burlon. You can follow Scott at ScottyK_Jr. You can follow Joe.
House music's
at-
getting us played off.
at
So
Joe Goalie 4. No, the house music is messing with Joe. He keeps hitting the volume up and it just drops
shit.
down on him. Keep hitting that. Make sure you hit OK and let it know that it's okay to play it loud. You're okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Reminder. reminder, the drunk line is always open. Now that the show is going to be shorter, you're going to need to leave some more voicemails.
More
so
in between the week stuff.
Whenever you want, 440-37-DRUNK. Thank you guys for tuning in. Cheers, everybody.
Dilly dilly.